Welcome, everybody. So I think the meeting is already in order, and I think we're just going from a recess. Is that correct, Mike? Yep. So I don't need to call the meeting to order. We're just back from a recess. So I don't think I need to approve the agenda or adopt minutes or anything like that. So we can just move right back over to David. And before we start, David was just going to do a quick little highlight, just so we know what we're doing here in terms of design review versus future planning board and et cetera. So over to you, David.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, just to reiterate for the board that the scope of the Design Review Board is to essentially review the remarks of the third-party design reviewer. We're really here to critique and review the cosmetic, aesthetic components of the proposal, the actual design of the building, the exterior facades, the appearance, the look, how that design fits with the streetscape and the surrounding area. Those are really the limits and the confines of what we're here to review. And to go beyond that is to meander into the territory of the scope of other bodies at the city, such as planning boards. So we're not here to review for zoning or whether the proposed development conforms to zoning. That's beyond the scope of the Design Review Board. So I just wanted to provide those remarks just to reiterate for the Design Review Board what the scope of their authority actually is in this situation. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And do you have an more updated report for us before we reconvene with questions, et cetera? Or is it the same application? I just heard you mention prior to the meeting that there could be a few changes or something to this.
Through the chair, yes, the developers, since our last meeting on November 5th, the developers have revised their concept. I did provide an updated report in the agenda, so the developers have come back. Essentially, it's the same proposal, but at 8 stories instead of 10 stories. So the developers have scaled back to 8 stories, whereas we presented a 10-story concept at the last meeting. So just to continue from our recess, I do have an updated presentation that illustrates that 8-story concept. So that's a major change since the last meeting on the 5th is the new 8-story concept.
Okay. To the board, any?
Steve going to present that?
I don't know. Is somebody going to present that? And do the stories fall into design review? I just want to make sure.
Through the chair, well, the number of stories isn't what's up for debate by the board, but the fact that they've scaled back does affect the appearance and the physicality of the building, and it does affect, in part, the overall design to some extent. I do have an updated presentation that I was going to run through very quickly, just to show those images for the board's information. Yeah.
Perfect. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, members of Design Review Board, those in attendance tonight. The following is an updated presentation for the multi-residential development proposal for Prince Street, identified as PID 1106905. This is a request for design review to confirm the exterior design for a proposed 8-story, which is reduced from an original 10-story proposal, mixed-use, multi-residential building having over 300 units on the subject property that would have combined underground and surface level parking. The subject property is an interior lot located on the east side of Prince Street, south of the intersection with Water Street, located within the waterfront WF zone adjacent to established residential and community uses. Subject property is currently vacant, containing no buildings or structures. Next slide illustrates the 3D renderings that the developers have provided of the revised and updated 8-story concept for the development. As per section 7.1 of the zoning bylaw, new buildings within the 500 lot area are required to undergo the design review process to ensure that the architectural design of proposed developments within the 500 lot area maintain a high quality of design and are constructed with consistent type and quality of materials. From a design perspective, new buildings in the 500 lot area are to complement and be compatible with existing buildings on surrounding properties and to blend seamlessly with the streetscape. The proponents have submitted, as noted, an updated design package which contains facade drawings, elevation drawings, and proposed site plan for the development, which has been updated and scaled back to an 8-story building height as shown on the renderings on your screen. Next is the site plan, where there's been no changes to the footprint or positioning of the building on the site. As per section 3.14.3 of the zoning bylaw, the design package as submitted by the proponents was forwarded to a design reviewer to conduct a review of the proposed development for conformity with intent of the zoning and development bylaw, specifically including the design standards for the 500 lot area and criteria for evaluation for design review. The third-party design reviewer provided recommendations as follows with regard to building, form and scale, roof treatment, materials, and architectural quality and signage and art. Recommendation regarding building form and scale. The designer/applicant might consider revisiting the street wall and base building height and how it relates to the existing adjacent buildings to help create a stronger relationship and preserve streetscape. This could be accomplished by 1, extending the second floor level out flush with the upper, 2, retreating the 5th floor level with the suggested step back, 3, consider the materials and how they align with the adjacent building, 4, revisit the balconies that presently extend past the face of Founders Hall, 5, consider an overall reduction in height by 1 or 2 stories, which may help ground the building with a more harmonious scale. And lastly, prepare a few more perspective images at ground and water level from a distance to help provide a better sense of how the building will be viewed from afar and its overall impact on the Charlottetown waterfront. Recommendations as follows for roof treatment. As noted in the design brief provided, if pickleball courts are to be considered for the roof structure, mindful attention must be placed on the necessary netting and how it might look as part of the design of the building. Recommendation regarding materials and architectural quality. Explore possibility of elevating the use of the flamed red Tempio cladding above the 2nd story mark to help reinforce its place in the streetscape and provide a better visual connection with its neighbors. It is noted that the developers have responded and acted on this recommendation of the design reviewer. Lastly, a recommendation regarding signage and art. If the intent is to earn approval for bonus site by providing space for public art, the designer might consider allocating portions of the building facade adjacent to the covered sidewalk on the west side of the building for installations. This seems a suitable location with its facing Founders Hall and possibility of having direct access to the commercial spaces on that side. I'll just note that the new concept would not meander into the need for bonus sites, so that this recommendation is perhaps a moot point at this point in time. Just to repeat again the design reviewer's summary statement, based on the assumption that the requested variances and/or site-specific exemptions are approved by the planning department, it's my opinion that the overall design is generally of good quality. Coupled with the City of Charlottetown's greater need for rental units, the development's approval will provide 300+ much-needed long-term residences to the waterfront area, which do not exist and warrant consideration. My primary reservation lies in the overall height of the building and whether a 10-story structure is suitable for this location, being the first of its size in the area. There is no doubt that the future approval of other large-scale developments in this zone will assist with the contextual issue, but in the interim, it will stand out amongst buildings a third of its size. I would otherwise recommend a reduction to 8 stories to assist in making it more harmonious with its neighboring buildings. However, this may not work with the developer's pro forma. Should the design review committee be in favor of a 10-story building, along with some of the suggestions put forward, I would recommend planning board and council consider a project for approval. So just to summarize our updated recommendation based on the revised concept that the developers have provided, planning staff are recommending that the design review board support the design proposal for the revised 8-story, formerly 10-story multi-unit residential building on the property identified as Prince Street, PID number 1106905, with consideration for the design reviewers' recommendations outlined in their letter dated October 8th, 2025. And it's noted for the board's information that this recommendation relates only to proposed building facade designs. And consideration for any relief from zoning would have to be dealt with through a future separate Planning Act process. So that is a summary of the revised concept. Again, repeating the design reviewers' recommendations from our last meeting, just for the board's information again, and our recommendation to the board. And I'll turn it back to the chair for any questions and further discussion. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And we have the applicant here, not to put you on the spot, but do you want to add anything to your project before we open it up for questions? If we do, you go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess to reiterate, we are partners in the city process. So Mr. Haggis's comments that Mr. Gundrum had read through were all incorporated into this design. So all of Robert's recommendations, reduction in height, equal facade equaling Founders Hall and the adjacent condo building, those 5 recommendations that he made, we changed our design. So Robert never reviewed the newest design. Those were his recommendations from the original design that were incorporated into this building. Second, I think we heard everybody loud and clear 2 weeks ago that height was going to be an issue, even though it's not in the design review committee's purview. And we acknowledged that. And as I mentioned before, we took the head off the building. So the top 2 floors have been cleaved off to comply with an as-of-right build. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I'll just open it up now to the board for questions, comments. Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Beck.
Yeah, good. Paul, right? Yep. Paul, so basically, it is the extended bonus part, or the 2-story, that kind of wavy look, whatever we want to call it, is removed. So that's the only change. How far back from the street is the 4th floor from the the 5th floor from the 4th floor? See where it curves back there, sets back? And that main area is just an extended, on the 5th floor would just be an extended deck area for those people, I guess, is it? I'm talking on the
So
west side.
Where it sets back on
Yep.
the west side.
Yeah. I guess that's a
Yeah.
different look. I guess that's looking at it from the
I think,
water,
I
isn't
think it's roughly 9 feet, Norma.
9 feet, okay.
I can confirm that, though.
Yep, okay.
Thank you for that, Councillor Beck. Anybody else? Go ahead, Brian.
I have no questions. I compliment the applicant for coming back with a very clear compliance with what was in the design reviewer's critique, and I'm ready to put a motion on the floor.
Sure. So,
I'll second that.
okay, so motion on the floor from Brian and seconded by Councillor Beck.
Can I
that we
clarify the motion?
What's that?
Can I clarify the motion?
You most certainly can. Yes, go ahead.
I support the staff's recommendation as presented today with the attached drawing package for the 8-story building and all of the, I guess, agreement on the design reviewer's critique. So I propose to put that on the floor for approval.
Thank you. And Councillor Beck, you're seconding that?
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Okay, so we have the resolution on the floor. I know we have Jackie online. Jackie, do you have any questions?
Hi, I don't have any questions, and my sentiments echoed what Brian just said, that I appreciate that they took into consideration what the design reviewer said and applied the feedback really thoughtfully. I also really admire the concept of what they're trying to achieve in terms of sustainable living, so I would also vote in favor of the motion.
Okay, if there's no, oh, yes, go ahead,
Yeah.
Councillor Beck.
Just, it's not a design-related question, I'm just curious. 324, I think, was the original number, Paul, in the 10 unit. What are we down to now under this unit here?
We're under 300 now. We're about 285, I think, to be precise. I can get you the exact count, but it's
Yeah.
it's not 300.
Okay. Again, I think it was broken down, studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, that
There'll
sort
be
of thing?
less 3 bedrooms because they were primarily on the top 2 floors.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, if that could be just for information purposes, it'd be good to know, I think, next.
We'll
when
send it
comes.
to David so
Great.
the city has it for its records.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks. And just before I call the question, I was remiss in mentioning that Aaron, one of our members, he had to send his regrets because he's in a declaration of conflict. So I just wanted to add that to public record because I think I missed saying it publicly.
Aaron
Stavert? Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure we had that noted as to why he was not participating today. If there's no other questions, all those in favor of accepting staff's recommendation?
In favor.
Okay, so that's unanimous. And so just to clarify, this completes the design review process. This does not need to carry on to council as the board has accepted staff's recommendation. So that kind of concludes that process here today.
So next is going to planning board.
No, probably, we may or may not see it because it now appears to be an as of right, so this might be the last time we see it unless the applicant changes their mind. Yeah, so,
But if you have comments or recommendations, we're all ears.
thank you for that. Okay, any new business? Seeing none, I have one item of new business, and I'm going to ask the board, are you interested in moving these design review meetings going forward to either a 4 PM or a 4:30 PM start time? Because I'd rather get the opinion of everybody before I ask the staff if we could do that. My preference would be at least 4 o'clock, but I'm looking at the board and what they might prefer. Anybody have a comment? Go ahead, Councillor Beck.
Matters not to me.
I have a quick comment that 4 o'clock onwards would work best for me.
Okay, all right, right, so I'll just ask staff if they could take that under advisement and see whether or not that could be something you could work into your schedule and maybe then send out a new notification if we could switch to a 4 PM start going forward for design review.
We certainly can, and it's also opportune timing because we have the 2026 calendar that we'll set for the year, so yeah, we can certainly do that, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Beck, seconded by Brian. All those in favor?
In favor. Thank you.
Wonderful, and thank you, everyone, and thanks for your patience for waiting. Okay, bye.